What was it about Ty Sparks that made you guys want to trade up to go get him?
Excellent shot. He can score. I think he had 28 goals on two teams that were, one team was probably not the strongest team in the league. You know, Vancouver got traded to Spokane, who is probably thought they'd have a little bit better of a year, but you know, Seattle kept one of their top players, you know, at a young age. So we thought he could, and he passes the puck really well too. I think his assists were almost identical to his goals, maybe one less assist. Hard worker, skates well, pretty explosive. So those are things that were attracted him to us.
Is any patterns in his game after Dylan Gunther, who can also rifle the puck pretty well?
Yes, he can. That'll be good if he shoots as well as Dylan Gunther. Yeah, yeah.
He took the center, but he was talking about he was calling himself a winger during the interview. What do you guys have?
You know, I saw him play mostly on the wing. Yeah, he played on the wing the games I saw in Vancouver and then in Spokane also. So, yeah, I see him more as a winger. Yeah.
Guy comes from Idaho. There aren't many of them, but obviously he's played other places, so it doesn't really matter where he's from, I guess, when you look at it.
No, not at all. But he sure. The family really made an effort to help him kind of achieve his dream, because I think he played 3 years in LA maybe, and then 1 year in Chicago. And when we interviewed him, it was always jump on a plane for the weekend, fly somewhere, play the games, go back to Idaho. So pretty big commitment from the family and from himself to, like I said, to chase his dream, you know, of playing hockey.
Coming off of that, he mentioned that he would fly himself. So, I mean, does it just speak to his character as well and his maturity and
Yeah.
age that he's traveling himself and sacrificing his time?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I think flying isn't for everybody. You know, there's a lot of anxiety with people, regardless of what age. Sometimes, might be speaking from personal experience. No, at a young age, like I said, that's pretty mature to be able to do that.
What can you tell us about Brian McAden? I imagine with their connection. What did you interact?
Yeah, well, he was our U.S. scouts. Rich Algier and AJ Taves, Jeremy Browning, really liked him a lot. 6'5", skates really well, competitive guy. We caught up to him again at the U.S. Midget Nationals in Las Vegas, and probably played almost the whole game. You know, so I mean, we thought we were fortunate to get him where we did. I think sometimes it's hard with high school players, you know, but
Yeah.
we tell our scouts we can't control the environment they're in. So, you know, my question to them always, well, how does he skate? How does he think the game? You know, what's his work ethic like? Is he a good teammate? I mean, some are playing in the elite league like our first round pick, you know, some are playing in college, some are playing in junior, and some are playing in high school. And I think sometimes the high school kids probably don't get looked at as much as they should.
Is it harder to evaluate those types of players who are, you know, playing those split seasons in Massachusetts, you know, with a prep school and then AAA? You haven't seen them against USHL competition or you know, OHL or WHL competition?
Yeah, I mean, you like to see them in prospect games where they're all on the ice at the same time, you know, the same age group,
Yeah.
but we can't control those environments. So like I said, it's just remember about the attributes. How does he skate? It doesn't matter if he's playing high school or college or elite league or junior or on a big ice surface. He skates the way he skates. So let's just concentrate on the attributes and decide where to put him on our list, and yeah, go with that.
Still some filling out for him to do.
Yeah, he's about 185 pounds, I think. So, but he's got a big frame. So yeah, I think when it's all said and done, he'll be pretty big. He's got the long reach on him also.
What's next for him? Where does he go?
You know, I think he's got a couple options. I think he is committed to go to Northeastern. I think he belongs his rights to Chicago in the USHL, and I want to say that he also maybe belongs to St. John in the Quebec League, but I would have to check that out. So we'll, check it out with Steve Richmond, and I'm sure he's been in contact with the family already and see what his plans are and what his thoughts are and what he wants to do.
In those situations, do you guys give the players advice
Do we give him advice?
on what to do next season?
You know, it's a family decision along with his agent, or I guess family advisor. So, yeah, I mean, that's a decision that they make. You know, it's hard for us to kind of get involved in a lot of those things. You know, it's like people ask that about, you might have a player playing in the Ontario League and the team isn't very good, and do you go in and try to get him traded? And we don't do that. I mean, that's up to them. And we obviously have our development team that's always in contact with them closely and watching them practice and play games and be with them. And yeah, you hope they're in a good environment, but it's kind of it's different than a lot of other sports that way.
The right side is maybe an area that you guys need a little bit more depth in. Is it nice to have a guy who's plays maybe, not so much like an offensive kind of game, but a shutdown game and can kind of make his opponents pay and use his size to his advantage like that?
So was that with which player?
Talking about the right side and strengthening depth there, is it nice to have a shutdown guy as opposed to somebody who's offensive minded, more of a shutdown guy who focuses on physicality and those different aspects?
Yeah, it's, I think when you take a look at teams that win the cup, and like when we win the cup, you always have skill, but you also have to have some size. People that play more of a 200-foot game, or defensemen that can play a two-way game and kill penalties. And so I think those players are really important and hard to find. They really are.
Sorry. How cool was it to draft Logan Stewart in the same building where his dad Brad got drafted and started his NHL career?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Actually, Brad I think when he got drafted, he was playing in my hometown too, in Regina, with the Pats. Yeah, I think San Jose might have taken 3, I think, in that draft. But yeah, happy to get Logan. I mean, he's obviously not as big as his father, but he's a really intelligent player and can really skate. He's one of those guys, again, that away from the puck plays very well. I mean, he's obviously not the highest goal scorer or point getter that was in the draft, but his two-way game is exceptional. And penalty killing, and has an unselfishness to him that the type of guy you'd want to play with. You want him to be your center because he'll get you the puck. And like I said, he's so good away from the puck.
When you're picking late in the draft, and I'm sure it gets harder and harder to find exactly what you're looking for, can lineage, bloodlines, can that be a tiebreaker? Because he's been talking hockey since he was 5 years old around the dinner table. Like, does that help maybe inform your decision when you're kind of not reaching, but you got those guys where it's late in the draft?
No. I mean, it's an advantage to him, obviously, to have good coaching at home. In addition to the coach, he probably had, well, I don't know if Brad coached when he was younger or not. He probably did, but so that's an advantage, I think, for the player. But for us, no, it's once again just who's the best guy that we could find at this point in the draft. Who's next on our list.
Were you surprised by how many trades? I asked you this last night, but it seemed like there were even more today. And what do you think that is a function of? Our team starting to look at like analytics and other things that are making them want to trade back? And
I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask those teams. We more than often we trade up, to get a player that we really like. But yeah, there were a lot of teams starting right in the second half of the first round. Yeah. They were trading back, so I don't know. I guess that would be a question for them.
Do you expect all 4 guys from your draft class this year to be here for development camp?
They should be, but I have to talk to Steve Richmond after. I'll actually see Steve tonight. I think he's flying back from Buffalo, so he's been in contact with everybody.
Is there anybody in particular you're looking forward to seeing this week in development camp? I know you keep a very close eye on what's happening with the guys.
Not really. I mean, you're kind of looking to see everybody, that you've drafted in the past and how they've improved and how they come back stronger and how they test and, and then, I mean, it's obviously interesting to see the ones that you just did draft, but you have to be patient with them too. I mean, for them, it's the excitement of being drafted. All of a sudden they're on the ice and all of a sudden it'll be over and they'll be on their way home.
Yeah.
So it'll go by really quick for them, but it'll be a good experience for them.
Linden, is he going to, Lakovic, is he going to be on the ice? There was some question last week.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Jason Service or Steve about that, so those questions would be better for Steve and Jason.